everybody, and welcome back to my channel, TabbyLoves. I'm Tabitha, and I talk to you about the things that I love. Today, it is episode 2 of Exploring Smut. The February book is Deceived by Gargoyles, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, Deceived by Gargoyles. This was recommended to me in my Exploring Smut TikTok video, and it looks so good. All I saw from the synopsis is it's a curvy librarian looking to start a family, and she's living in a library, or she works at a library or something like that, and there's some gargoyles at these library. And it's going to be fun to see what unfolds here. I really was drawn to this one partly because of the curvy FMC. I feel like smut is one of those genres that has the most diversity, like body-wise, mostly for the women. The men, not as much. The men could do a little bit better, but the diversity in women is absolutely fantastic. And I like a smut book like this. I've read similar things in the past, but I have not read this author in particular. It's, what was her name? Lillian something. I'm displaying it here. You can see what the author's name is. But my friend Adia, who likes to read a lot of these books, also says that this author is fantastic. So I am real hopeful for this. The prologue starts with a character named Grace, which I'm going to guess is the main character. And let's see what's... I am also at the same time watching Bridgerton, the new season. I'm a little behind because I think it came out a little bit, like quite a few weeks ago. But I'm watching it now. So yeah, it's a nice little background to also reading this book. So I read through the first chapter, and it seems this is about, there is a thing called a love bathhouse, and it also doubles as a matchmaking service, and Grace is there to become matched with somebody because she's having a hard time finding anybody that likes her between her weight and her family name. So that's what the witch that's there casts some sort of love magic, and that helps her hopefully find some sort of match, which I think by the title it's pretty obvious what that match is gonna be. But you know what, I'm here for it. I like this kind of setup. I like where this is going so far. The writing is middle of the road right now. It could go either way from this point. Could get better, could get worse. But I'm not minding it so far. Like, so far, not too bad. Not too shabby.
Hello everybody, it's the next day. I ended up spending most of yesterday playing The Sims and finishing Lucy Undying. I'll talk about all of that in my February reading wrap-up. But beside the point, I'm getting back to reading today. I'm going to be trying to read as much of it today as possible. I didn't realize when I picked this book that it was a full-length novel, like a 400-page book, because I wanted something I could read over my 2 days off, but we're gonna try anyway. Like, I'm gonna read as much as I can of it today, and we'll see. If I need to read it over the next few days too, that's fine, you know, or you're coming on this journey with me. It doesn't matter to you because it's gonna be all in the same video, but it's because I want to try to get my video up on time, because my last video wasn't up on time anyway. Not that you guys care about that, doesn't matter. I'm back to reading though, and I'm like, it's introduced she has a friend Amelia. I love her job. Like, she's a magic item historian, because like her magic power, she can like touch historic items and get get all of their information absorbed into her head. That's pretty cool. I love women. I don't even know if it's male dominated fields, because this book doesn't seem like it has that problem. We love women in STEM. We love women in history. Let's say that. How about that?
Okay, so I guess the whole deal with the witch matchmaker is the pay for her services is you and the person you're matched with have to sleep together in the bathhouse to do some magical, the magical energy to recharge it or something like that. Which I kind of love that. Also, we have met the gargoyle boyfriend, or so we think, right? His name is Elliot, and we get a chapter from his point of view in chapter 4. So
dual point of view confirmed. I don't know, like, some people, I think, like, specifically look for that when they want these kind of books, and some people don't like it. So, I kind of don't fall either way. I like dual point of view, but I also don't care if it's not dual point of view, you know? Like, I do like the classic from the girl's point of view, but getting to see the guy's point of view sometimes is sometimes just delicious. So, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Hello. I'm waiting for my groceries, because I'm picking up groceries, and so I'm reading, right? And, so, what's his name? Elliot's point of view, it turns out that he's actually mated to 2 other gargoyles, and he's hoping to bring Grace into their big old family. But Grace had told the matchmaker that she's not interested in anyone that has multiple partners. Like, she's not interested in a kind of relationship like that. So that's going to be interesting. Also, the spice, there's already been spice on the page between Elliot and one of his mates. So, it's definitely starting out strong. It's going to be interesting to see how they fix this situation, how him telling Grace about this is going to go. My guess is it's not going to go well. I am sensing trouble in the future. However, I do want to say that I'm starting to really not like this writing style. I just think it's a little bit juvenile at some places. It's a little bit, like, repetitive. Like, the amount of times that in the previous chapter Elliot had called his mate, like, over and over and over again, it was a little bit too much. And now some of the descriptions, like Grace is telling her friend about the date, and she was like, it was the best first date I've ever been on. For dessert, he took me to this amazing little shop where hot chocolate made to order with fancy toppings is their specialty. And there's something about that line that I'm like, or maybe it's just like, hot chocolate is not dessert. I am liking the kind of like themes about home and family. I can appreciate that part. And it's like cute how they're represented in different ways, and same with like body acceptance too. Always fun to see in a smutty romance novel. Nothing quite like physical intimacy, am I right? At the 70% mark, almost 75%. I have a bad feeling about where this story is going. Like, if it does the trope I think it's gonna do, I'm not gonna want it. But it could go either way. Because the crazy stalker that was mentioned quite a few times had, like, picked up the antics, because of course things were starting to go well between Grace and her boys, right? And I'm worried that it's going to get to the point where he's going to be like, oh, you have to marry me or I'm going to hurt those gargoyles or whatever. And she's going to do it, like, self-sacrificing-y and cause, like, a big fight where she's like, no, well, I must leave, and says the most hurtful things possible. And then they realize what has happened and then they go save her from getting married or whatever. And I don't want to read that. I do not like that trope. So, hopefully it doesn't go that direction. But we'll see. I hope that the direction it goes is them, like, he, like, kidnaps her or something and then they save her or something like that. Not where one she goes willingly.
That specifically is the part I don't like, is if she's going with him willingly. Yeah. So, I mean, here we go. And also, there is a fair amount of spice on page here, too. Like, this one has quite a bit. It's fantastic, but, but, like, just so you know, if you are interested in reading this, too, it is a lot of spice. And the only thing with a book that's this long with spice is that it is hard to keep it interesting, you know, and keep it from being repetitive. Now, this author has an advantage because it's one girl and 3 men, or gargoyles if you want to call them. So there are quite a few more options available for what can go on in a spicy scene than the typical male-female setup, you know? So at least that part is serving. No, you know what it's gonna be. The crazy stalker guy is gonna take her friend Amelia, the friend that she's debating whether or not she wants to tell her that supernatural beings exist because they're best friends, but she's like, but she's human, she doesn't know. Is the supernatural stalker guy gonna steal her? Because, you know, he's a witch, and it's gonna have to force her to tell a lot of truths real quickly. Truths that she didn't want to tell. So, that's what I think is gonna happen. That's my prediction as I go into this last stretch here. 75%. Let's do this. Hey everyone. Honestly, it's a few days later. But I finished it. I didn't realize that there was gonna be emotional stuff there at the end. Otherwise, I probably would have recorded at least a little bit of a reaction. But I don't know if I actually reacted that much. I did almost cry, but I didn't actually cry. Like, the tears didn't actually come, but I felt them building behind my eyes and I held them back. And I do know, like, I do put a spoiler warning at the beginning, but, extra spoiler here, when Alistair almost dies, and, like, technically, like, he was, like, possibly dead, right, because he turned into a statue, and hearing them, like, talking to, like, his statue, thinking he's dead, it got to me a little bit, and I'm kind of surprised by that. But this kind of leads right into this section of the video where we're breaking it down and we're talking about it. And the first thing I want to talk about is the characters in this book were really well written. Like, and yeah, sure, there are probably better written characters out there in, like, more traditional literature, but I really liked all of the work the author put into making these characters. Like, even though that there were 4, like, people in this relationship, they each had their own distinct personality and felt like separate people. Or I guess a person and 3 gargoyles. But, like, all 3 of the men felt like separate men. And they didn't just feel like archetypes. Though they were definitely that. Like, don't get me wrong. There's definitely the more, like, stoic but, like, dominating one. There's definitely the more, like playful, like, relaxed, easygoing one. And then there was, like, the anxious, submissive one. All of that. But the author did a really good job, I think, of, like, fleshing them out and making them feel real, giving them the correct baggage, all of that fun stuff. And, like, the main female character, Grace, I really liked her. I thought that, like, some of her struggles were definitely, like, relatable, especially being a larger girl. I don't know how often you've seen some of my videos. I'm not about to stand up, but I am a little bit on the larger side. I'm a chubby woman, so I feel a lot of the insecurities the main character has, which definitely put into perspective this book. Also, the main character's job is cool as all hell. And I saw in the very end of this book that apparently the next book in the series is about the best friend, which I remember when I said in the last clip that I thought the best friend was going to get kidnapped. She fucking did. And now she knows. And it's been implied that the boss of the job where Grace and her friend work is also something else. And you find out at the very end, because it's like a preview of the next book, that Amelia, the friend character, has a crush on the boss. So who knows? Maybe that'll be the next one I read. Who knows? But I definitely like to take your guys' recommendations first. Again, I got this recommendation off of the video I made about this on TikTok, so feel free to leave any recommendations you have in the comments. Anyway, moving on to the next part, plot. This book, it is mostly spice. It is a great deal spice once you get past the beginning, like, dating stages. And, I mean, and that being said, the beginning was a little bit on the slow side. Like, honestly, I felt like it was a lot of, like, Elliot, the first main male character, he did a lot of deceiving, and it was a lot of Grace finding out about his deceits and then being mad about it and running away and then coming back after she had time to process her feelings and getting it all sorted out, which is completely fine. Like, that's understandable. It just got a little bit repetitive, and I think when you do have these kind of books and they do go past, like, 200 pages, it is a problem that tends to reoccur. Just because there's only so much, like, actual moving the plot forward you can do in a 400-page book that's mostly about people sleeping with each other, you know? I honestly don't know how explicit I'm allowed to talk on YouTube, so I'm trying to keep it vague. Anyway, but the main plot, you know, Grace wanting to find love and also having this creepy stalker ex and, like, having to come to terms with her own insecurities, and also the three men also having to deal with their own insecurities and their own issues too that come up, and how she helps them with that. Great. Fantastic. If there's going to be a plot for a spicy book that's just spice, this is a good one to have. And especially, like, having the three, and I talked about this a little bit earlier in the video, but having, like, the three love interests for the main character was definitely something that was used to keep the spice interesting, which I really appreciated, because, again, I mentioned it earlier, but I feel like typical male-female, or even, like, female-female, male-male, the two-partner setup, there's only so much you can do. And if you guys have any books where they have the two-partner setup and there is a big variety and the spice doesn't get boring, drop it in my comments. I'd love to read it. Because, like, it can be done. I've read it before, but, you know, it could be a bit meh. Okay, final closing remarks. Was this book sexy? Yes. I loved all of the spicy scenes. Like, they did a phenomenal job. It also felt natural. And there was prepping. If there was anything bigger than average being stuck anywhere, the person was more or less properly prepped. I mean, technically there's probably more prepping that could have been done on a technical level, right? In, like, a real life relationship situation, there'd be more that would need to be done, but overall, the author addressed it accordingly, I think, for a book. And the Gargoyles, I, for some reason, didn't expect to find them as attractive as I did in my head. The author mentions in their author note that they were based off of some sort of show. I didn't look up the show, and I'm now not going to be able to find, like, go back to the author's note, because I already returned the book to Kindle Unlimited. But I definitely had a vision of what the Gargoyles looked like in my head, and it worked. It worked. But, like, overall, I gave this book another 5 stars. Like, so far, both of the books in this series we've been doing have been 5-star reads. They've been great spicy books, and I have yet to have one that's flopped yet. So that's very promising. I've missed being able to explore spicier books, because a lot of the books that I read, honestly, like most of the time, they don't even have that much spice in them. This goes all the way back to my my days as a young adolescent who did nothing but scroll on like sites like WhatsApp and Archive of Our Own looking for spicy fanfictions. This is what that part of me always needed, and it's so fun to go back to that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of this, or you have any other suggestions or anything else you would like to see, and again, suggestions for the book for March, leave them down in the comments. Definitely check this book out yourselves if you're interested. Again, it's definitely like a poly relationship. they are gargoyles, so it is monster romance. The FMC is larger. I don't know if she's fully like plus size, but because like they actually don't get into her description too much. But like honestly, I just pictured the girl on the cover, so no harm, no foul there. But those are just things to keep in mind. There is a Stalker X, so if that's triggering you, and also I guess look up any other triggers that could be there. That's the main one I can think of. Oh, there's also she has like despondence with her family. What's the word? She's like cut her family off. Like she doesn't talk to them. So there's also like stressed family dynamics if that bothers you. And again, death of loved ones. If you saw this little spoiler about Alistair. But again, overall, I liked it. And I hope you guys are liking these videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Goodbye.